Hey, guys, it's me, Charlene Pierre, CEO and founder of Boss Building Your Way. Listen, I want to give you four things that I want you to truly think about. Like, you really have to know these four things like the back of your hand. You really have to assess your business with these four things, especially if you are working a 9 to 5 job, right? And you are growing and scaling and building this business on the side of the job. A lot of us who are working a 9 to 5 job, we want full-time pay, right? We want six figures and multiple six figures, but you're trying to figure out how in the heck do I do that when I don't have full-time entrepreneur hours? I'm working 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours every single day, five, for some of you, 6, 7 days a week in that 9 to 5. However, you still have this burning desire to grow and scale this business as your pre-exit strategy, as the opportunity to transition out of corporate, out of whatever that 9 to 5 career is, because you truly want entrepreneurship to be the thing that catapults you and gives you freedom of time, freedom of income, and just freedom of options, right? So we all have our own reasons why we work a 9 to 5 and we build in a business. Because let me just say right here, right now, it ain't easy. Don't let people fool you. It is not easy. It is not easy. It is not easy. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be this thing that pulls at all your energy and you just can't figure out what to do. And you're allowing doing both things to create stress and overwhelm and frustration for you. You just have to operate differently, right? You just have to figure out, what do I really need to focus on, and whether or not those things that I'm focusing on feeds my vision and feeds the bottom line. If you're taking notes, write that down. Is what I'm doing right now in my business, especially for those of you who work a 9 to 5, is what I'm doing right now in my business feeding these two areas? Is it feeding my vision? And is it feeding the bottom line? Okay. Is it fueling? I want to say fueling. Is what I'm doing right now in my business on a day-to-day basis, is it fueling the vision? Is it aligned to the vision? And is it feeding the bottom line, the money, right? The things that bring profit into your business. So the four things I want you to really hone in on, ask yourself, assess the layout of the land in your business and determine if you have these answers. If you don't, that's what you need to be doing this week. If you don't have these things, stop scrolling on social media, stop learning additional information, because one thing I've learned about you high performing, overachieving, smart people, right, is that you have a lot of information. You pull a lot of information from a lot of different areas, right? And there's nothing wrong with having information, because information is going to be the greatest equalizer. Information is going to be the greatest equalizer for you to find the things that are necessary to get you closer to your goals and to your vision. The problem is, often we stay in information mode too doggone long, right? We constantly research, and you got the answer, but you need backup information and backup upon backup upon backup. And all that backup is causing you to stay still. You can't even move because you're backing yourself up, right? You're backing yourself into an information corner and becoming an information hoarder, and you're not taking action. So what I need you to do, as you're listening to this, as you're assessing the layout of the land, as you're assessing your business and what it is you are doing within your operations, and within the scope of your business, what I want you to also remember, write this down, is that you are responsible for decreasing the timeline between the information, gathering the facts, researching, and you taking action. Make the decision to decrease the timeline. If it normally takes you 30 days, 60 days, a year, 2 weeks to go from information to taking action, figure out why, and figure out ways that you can close the gap and reduce the timeline, because that's how you're going to get to the results quicker. Reduce the timeline between information stage and taking action stage and implementation. All right. So write this down. 4 things I want you to think about, especially if you're working a 9 to 5 job and you're scaling and growing your business on the side, or if you are a full-time entrepreneur, but you don't have full-time entrepreneur hours to put into your business right now, or if you're just a full-time entrepreneur and you need help in this area. I got you. So I'm going to look down. I wrote some notes. So the first thing I want you to think about is, can your offer support your revenue goal? This is important. Can your offer, the service, whatever it is you're putting out there, can it support your revenue goal? What is your revenue goal? Listen, a lot of us want 6 figures in business. And whether or not you're making 6 figures in your 9 to 5, it's absolutely possible within your business, right? So can the service and the offer you are providing, can it produce that 6-figure result or that high multiple 5-figure result? If you're offering something that's $7, how many of those $7 things will get you to whatever the goal is, whatever the revenue goal is, right? People often tell you high ticket, $20,000, $10,000, $2,000, right? I'm always going to work with my clients in developing offers that are $2,000 plus, right? However, in some cases, your service, your offer, whatever it is you're providing may not start at that $2,000 mark or that $3,000 mark. But what I want you to understand is the price of whatever you're offering directly correlates with how fast you can get to your revenue goal, how much bandwidth you need to have to get to the revenue goal. Now, if you're doing a digital product and you can do this thing one time and sell it, that's different. But if you are providing professional services, let's say you are a project manager, you are an accountant, you are a therapist, you are a coach, you are a consultant, you are providing done-for-you services as an agency, you are a social media manager, you are a graphic designer, whatever it is that you're going to do, if you're in the professional services industry, a lot of the time, what you are doing will directly be aligned to your bandwidth and your capacity. So because your bandwidth and your capacity is already limited, you got to pay attention to how much you are charging for your services, how much bandwidth and capacity it will take for you to deliver those services, and how long it will take you to get to the revenue goal within the month, within the quarter, or within the year. So I want you to think about all that. So look at what it is you're offering. Look at whatever that service is, and I need you to understand, can that offer, that service at that price point with the bandwidth that you currently have or don't have, can it support the revenue goal? Can it support the amount of money you are looking to make in your business on a monthly, quarterly, and annual basis? That's the first thing, right? Number 2, and take notes in the chat. If you're watching me right now live, take notes in the chat so that when other people watch the replay, they can kind of look through the chat and see the notes that have been taken. And if any of this resonates with you, please let me know in the chat, because after these lives, I actually go back and I read them and I try my very best to reply to each and every one of you. And if you have questions, go ahead and ask your questions, and I'll try to look at them throughout this conversation, or I'll reply after the live, all right? The second thing that I want you to pay attention to is whether or not your offer allows you to grow and scale. Okay. Does this offer, does this service, whatever I'm providing, will this allow me to grow and scale? But here is the main point I want you to take out of this. Will it allow you to grow and scale without you doing the work? That's 2 different questions. 1, will this offer or service allow me to grow and scale? And 2, will it allow me to scale without me actually doing the work 100% of the time, right? A lot of us, when we are working a 9-to-5 job, what I'm finding is that many of us like to do service-based businesses. And nothing is wrong with a service-based business. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to do floral design, or you want to do event planning, or you want to do a pressure washing company or something like that, some type of service-based business. When that service-based business requires you actually doing the physical work, the manual labor, right? That is automatically going to remove the amount of bandwidth that you have available. That's automatically going to cause you to have less availability to show up physically, because your hands have to actually do the work, like you are the labor, right? And it's going to allow you to show up less energetically, and you're going to force yourself, automatically, this is going to happen. You're going to force yourself to work with less clients. In many cases, you're not going to be able to work with 5 and 6 and 7 clients every single week, right? When you are a wedding planner working a 9-to-5 job, you're not going to be able to do event planning for 7 birthday parties when it's only you, and you have to do the balloons, you have to do the planning, you got to actually physically be at the location, right? Another thing I want to, a caveat here, it's not a part of my 4 things, but maybe it should be the 5th thing or the bonus thing, right? The caveat here is when we are working a 9-to-5 job and we're building and growing and scaling a business on the side, many of us believe that we have to be a solopreneur. I have to be the only one. If you truly want to grow and scale your business, right, you're going to have to start thinking about support. Because when you are at the 9-to-5, clocking in on somebody else's dime, should you really be working on your business? Another day. I know a lot of you guys don't like that because you do it. Another day. Right? But I want you to think about this. The same way you are working on the clock on somebody else's dime, somebody will do that to you when they're working for you in your business. Just saying. So when you are working a 9-to-5, right, more than likely you're doing your work on your 15-minute break, on your lunch, things of that nature. Right? So during those hours where things still have to get done, who gets it done? That's why we find ourselves working till midnight, 11 p.m., 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, getting 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep because we are wearing all the hats, doing all the things because we want to live a solo entrepreneur life. We want to do all the things for whatever reason. So I want you to start thinking about, how can I get support? Who can support me? A VA, an admin. Who can I bring in to do certain things while I'm working my 9-to-5? So those little things don't have to be on my to-do list, on my plate when I'm doing the, when I'm working on the business after I get off. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. So does your offer allow you to grow and scale on the front end and the back end? Does your offer allow you to grow and scale with the front end and the back end? And whether or not your offer service allows you to scale without you doing the work, right? So in that example that I was giving, for those people who are actually doing physical manual labor, you actually have to be at the location, right? My question to you is, how many people can you truly service in that business model? Now, right now, that business model may work for you. Maybe a passion, you love it, and that may be the business model that works for you, right? But can you scale and grow that business model? If so, how? It doesn't mean you're going to do it right now. You may not be able to have the income to support bringing in somebody to do the manual labor, to be at the location, right? But can you grow and scale it? And if so, what does that look like? What has to change in order for that to happen? And also, the other part of that was, can it grow and scale without you doing the work? At least 50% of the time, guys. If you know what you are doing right now can only be done by you, like, is that really true? Are you the only one that can do that thing? And if it is true, it's so specialized, it's so niche, it's a hard to fill or hard to find type thing. If that is the case, then you have to ask yourself, where do I get the help from? If I want to replicate myself, duplicate myself, so that I'm not the only one who can do this very specialized thing, who else can I bring in? Am I able? Because right now, you may not be doing these things today or even this year, but you got to think about it so you know how to move. So you know how to move, because that's going to be your growth plan, right? Can I bring somebody in to do what I do? I might have to train them a little bit, right? You have to create what that looks like, navigate those waters. But can I bring somebody in? Because when you are able to bring somebody in, now you have duplicated the revenue. right? You've duplicated the revenue. If I bring a third person in, you have tripled the revenue. But if it's only you, your revenue is capped because you're the bottleneck. You are creating the bottleneck. You become the bottleneck, right? So I want you to think about that. Think about that. All right, number three, what is your competitive advantage? What sets you apart? What makes you different? What value do you bring to the table? Listen, especially for those who are coaches and consultants, nothing wrong, me too, right? There's a lot of people who do what you do. There's a lot of people who do what you do. They're a coach, they're a consultant, they do marketing, they do sales. A lot of people are in the same industry. My question here is, what sets you apart? What is your angle? What is different about your message? What is your thought process about the industry, right? What is your contrarian message? Why would somebody come to you versus somebody else when they're going to learn, foundationally the same thing? Right? What sets you apart? What value do you bring to the table? Why should somebody work with you versus somebody else? Now, I'm a firm believer, right, that you don't have competition. Your job is to create the competition. But in order to do that, you have to become a category of one. A category of one doesn't necessarily mean you are the only one in the market. You are the only one in the industry that does this particular thing. No, it just means the way you deliver it, the way you do your thing, right? The method in which you teach, the framework in which you teach, how you package it. Nobody else got it. It's only you. Nobody else can do what you do the way you do it, right? So how does that fit into the offer or service that you're providing? Listen, this is good for everybody. But if you are working a 9-to-5 job and you are building your business on the side, or you are an entrepreneur that has lots of competing priorities that pull at your time, attention, and energy, and you can't give 40, 50, 60 hours a week to your business, you got to nail these things down from the start. If you haven't nailed these things down, stop what you're doing, watch this replay, reassess your business, the landscape, and get this part done. You got to get this part done, because a lot of us are in this perpetual cycle in our businesses where we're trying to figure out, what do I offer? Who do I serve? What sets me apart? What is my message? What am I this? What am I that? Like, you got to get out of that cycle in order for you to start taking action, in order for you to start decreasing the timeline between you gathering information, acquiring content and knowledge, and taking action to start implementing this stuff. All right? So again, what's your competitive advantage? What sets you apart? Okay? What is different about how you deliver the service, how you teach the thing, how you talk about the thing, the process in which you take your customers or clients through to get them the results? What's your secret sauce? That's what I'm asking you. Don't leave it here. Don't sit here and watch me and say, oh, I know it, or you're thinking about it. I need you to write it down on paper, make it plain. Write it down on paper, make it plain. I'm a firm believer of writing it down on paper and making it plain so you can go back to it and see it and tweak it. Get it out of here and put it onto paper. All right? The fourth thing, guys, the fourth thing, I don't want to keep you too long. The fourth thing I wrote down was, how do you know you can support the delivery and fulfillment of that offer or service? What is your process? So what do I mean? We say, oh, this is the results I'm going to give. This is the transformation I'm going to give. This is what's included in my offer or my service, right? We got that. But you got to understand how you get them there. How do you get them from point A to point Z? What's B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. Okay, I'm going to stop. There, right? What is your framework? What is your process? Listen. This is a gap that I see in a lot of businesses, whether or not you're working 9-to-5 or whether or not you're a full-time entrepreneur. This is a gap. You have the process here. or you have it on a sticky note, right? Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. But you have not mapped out the journey. You have not mapped out what it looks like to get that customer, to get that client from point A to point Z so that they can get the promise or get the result that you said they were going to get when that transaction took place, when they gave you the money and you received it. How are you going to get them the result? You got to know this. When you are limited on time, when you are limited on your bandwidth and your capacity as an entrepreneur, this is the thing that's going to help you have repeatable processes. This is the thing that's going to help you have repeatable processes. So as you get clients, one-on-one clients, one-to-many clients, whatever, as you get clients and customers, you know how to service them. You know how to deliver on the promise. You know step 1, step 2, step 3, and within each step, you understand how to break that thing down and what they are required to do to get every single result so that they can get to point Z. If you don't have this, I promise you, you're making this hard for yourself, because as you grow and scale your business on the side of that 9 to 5 or on the side of whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to be excited to get that money when you get a client, but you're going to be less excited when it comes to delivering it because you're doing it on the fly, or you're trying to figure out what this person wants, what that person wants, or, you know, I'm going to give this person this, I'm going to give this person this, because you don't have anything written down. You don't have a process or a framework or a method in place to help everybody get the result that you have promised. When you have that and you execute and you implement that with each client, then you'll see the gaps much easier. Then you'll know what worked, what didn't work, what to remove, what to add. And then your offer, your service, whatever it is that you do, it'll get better over time. But listen, you got to have that in place. You got to have that in place. So that's four things that I want you to consider and assess and to think about in your business as you are growing and scaling it on the side of your 9 to 5. All right. Was that good? Let me know in the chat. That was good. Let me know. Let me know. What were your key takeaways? What were your key takeaways? Let me know what your key takeaways were. And if you were taking notes in the chat, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that, because you are helping your neighbor. You are helping your neighbor. And when you do this, you'll be able to create a win-win for yourself, because you know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what the process is, and you create a win for your client because they're going to have a good experience. You're also creating a win for your future contractors and employees. You're also creating a win for the people who are going to support you in your business, because you're going to be able to take what you've created and perfected and give it to somebody else to duplicate and replicate. Going back to whether or not the thing that you're providing is duplicatable, if it is able to grow, if it is able to scale. Because what I also find, something else, what I also find is that a lot of people are trying to get to 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, heck, your first 5 figures in a month, right? And when you don't get there, you are like super hard on yourself. Like you create this stress and this frustration and this overwhelm, and it's real, right? That stuff it's real. Your feelings are real. However, I'm going to give you the hard truth. I'm going to give you the hard truth. No chaser, no fairy dust, no sprinkles. For many of you, the reason why you're not getting to the result, your multiple 6 figures, your 6 figures, whatever your number is, and the reason why you're not getting there is because your business foundationally isn't even structured to get you there. Your business is being operated like a side hustle. Your business is not structured foundationally to get you the results you desire. So you might be doing the right things. But your business is not foundationally structured to operate in a way that will allow you to reap the benefit of the things that you're doing. So I want to put that out there. All right. So So hopefully that was good. So guys, I'm going to head out. I'm going to head out and pick up my daughter from school. But let me leave you with this. We are having an event. We are having an event, the Scale Your Side Business Challenge. And this event is specifically curated for those of you who work a 9-to-5 job, who have an existing business that you are growing and scaling on the side. Why? Because your hope and your desire is to take that business and for it to replace, double, and triple your 9-to-5 salary. So you have the confidence, clarity, confidence, and competence to lean out, to exit. Now, for many of you, you're not going to do that in the next 6 months. You're not going to do that in the next year. It might take you 3 years, 5 years, whatever your goal is. All you know is that you're not given 20 more years to retire. You're not waiting to retire. You're not working another 10 years. You're not working another 15, 17, 20 years to retire. So this is your escape plan. This is your exit strategy, the business that you are growing and building. So this Scale Your Side Business Challenge is going to help you understand how to create the exit strategy, the exit plan. You're going to leave the challenge with the framework for your exit strategy, that exit plan, but you're also going to learn what in the heck should I be focusing on right now? Because everybody telling me to do all these things, all these people telling me to do all these things, but I can't. It's either only you may have a few people on your team, but right now you are the bottleneck because you're working a 9-to-5, or because you have so many competing priorities, you're limited on time and you can't do everything. So what in the heck should you be focusing on, and in what order? And what does that operational foundational structure of the business, what is it supposed to look like to support your ability to grow and scale so you can lean out? So look above this video, look below this video, click the link, register for the challenge. If the link works, we have seats. If the link doesn't work, that means you have to join the wait list. And that's okay. Regardless of if it's registration or wait list, you need to be in the room. My hope is that you're in the room. And if you know anyone else who needs to be in the room, friend, send them the link. Send them the link. All right. All right, guys, as always, make it a fabulous rest of the day. Make it a great day. And I will see you same place, same time. Maybe tomorrow I'll pop on in and talk about some other tips and strategies and things that you may want to consider when it comes to, like, how do we do this? How do we grow a multiple 6-figure business while working a 9-to-5? Because let me just tell you really, really quick, you don't have to quit your 9-to-5 job. I worked my 9-to-5 job and built a 6-figure business and eventually made the decision to take the leap, to make the exit. So it's doable. It's doable. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult, but there are some things you want to think about. There are some things you have to set up and put in place now so that when you do make the decision, you feel clear and you feel confident about it, and you've created an infrastructure that supports your decision. And for some of you, you're like, I don't need all that. I'm leaving next week. I'm leaving in a year. I'm just done. So, and that's okay too. That's okay too, right? But again, I want you to be able to take the right actions. I want you to be able to focus on the things that matter, the things that fuel your vision and feed your bottom line, so that you can take the next step to making a decision that will bring you freedom of time, freedom of income, and freedom of options. All right, guys, I gotta go. All right. See you later. Bye.